Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to Satisfactory. Hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing great. So in the last episode we completed the onboarding process. We now have a decent hub. We have a bit of factory set up here. And we even have now at this point a storage container. And I've put all of my leaves and wood into that container. So we will be utilizing some of that here shortly, but I did say in the last episode that the first thing that I was going to automate was going to be concrete. So we are going to work on getting that right away here. So I have a few supplies in my inventory. I hope that we have enough. I am going to go ahead and put our Xeno Zapper in hand. That's out of focus. Oh, that is cool. That is something new. That is definitely something new. But now one thing that is really nice that they have added in Update 6 is we can press the H button and give ourselves basically an empty hand appearance, which is really nice. And then we can just use the mouse wheel to pull up our Xeno Zapper again. So that is something that, as far as I know, was not available previously. So that is really, really cool. So what we need to do is get up here on top of the little spire here that has our limestone deposit on it. And we need to get, oh man, that is just so beautiful. I've got to give props to the artists and the programmers in this game. I mean, they have done just a stellar job in making this look amazing. And yes, we will be exploring that. So that, as far as I know, that is the new terrain that was added with Update 6. I can't wait to do a little parkour on those little stone tongues that are sticking off. That's going to be fun. But yes, let's come over here. We are going to grab our portable miners, and we are going to place on here instead a miner Mark 1. So let's go ahead and go to our productivity and miner Mark 1. We can place this guy on here and we can rotate it around. So we're going to rotate it around. I think we're going to ship the finished concrete down to our base area rather than shipping the limestone. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here, and then we're going to connect our power up here. Now it is kind of nice. We can build things from quite a long distance. So if I hit that power pole, we can see it only has 3 of its 4 connections. So we have the ability to add another one. So we can bring this up here, get a power pole up here, and then we'll bring one more over this as long as I hit the right mouse button. And then we will connect this up. Now this guy will be producing a fair amount of limestone. We can see 120 limestone per minute. So that would actually keep up with at least 2 constructors, but we're going to set up one constructor right now because we don't have the ability to kind of separate things out. But we are going to push it a little bit away from the miner. Please stay locked onto it. There we go. So now that should hopefully give us room to place in the splitter later on. But we're going to go ahead and put that in here, and then we will connect power up to that. This guy here we are going to set to make concrete, and then we're going to throw a bunch of this limestone that we've already gotten from picking up our portable miners in there. So this guy is making concrete at a decent clip, 15 per minute. And so then what we will do is place a conveyor belt coming off of that. We're going to bring it over here somewhere roughly in about yeah, that should work, because we can't quite make it all the way to the bottom with one conveyor belt, but we can make it to there-ish. So that does take iron plates, so that's part of the reason why the one constructor down there is making iron plates. But then we can ride the conveyor belt down, so I can just stand here and it will carry me down, or I can run and we move even faster because the conveyor belts are helping us along. So down here then we will go ahead and place a storage container, and let's go ahead and see, can we lock that? Yeah, I mean we can kind of lock it on here. So if we bring this over here, that should be pretty close. And then we can connect this conveyor belt up to there, and our concrete will automatically go into our storage container. Now I think we might be able to, let's just try this. We will deconstruct all of this, and we will make a conveyor from up there. Yeah, connect to it, there we go. Yes, we can make it straight down to the storage container with one belt. Every time that we can simplify the belt structure, it's probably a good thing. So, yes, there we go. Our concrete is now automated, albeit slowly. So the next step that we want to do is to start automating some of this stuff. Now, I keep running out of rods. Plates are not nearly as much of an issue. In fact, we have quite a few plates in here right now, but we are currently out of iron in our smelter. So I will prime that again, but what we're going to need to do now is get a miner Mark I onto each of our iron nodes so that we can automatically feed these guys with ore. Oh, and there goes our fuse. So that's the first time that we've seen that we exceeded our power production, or we ran, nope, we did not run out of petals, so we definitely exceeded our power production. So what we're going to do, we are going to grab a stack of petals, and we might as well grab a couple of them because we're going to need to refill this other one. So we will top off that one, we will top off this, well, fill this one. And now we are going to need to redo a little bit of our wiring here. So we need to make a new power pole because that one was completely full over here closer to the biomass burners. And then we can connect both biomass burners to this one pole. Now, as far as I know, there is never a limit to how much power a cable can carry. I haven't ever seen any problems, at least. But at this point now, we can crank our fuse block back on, and now we can see that our capacity is at 40 megawatts, and our maximum consumption is at 25. So, yeah, there for a bit we were at 21 on our consumption. That was what caused us to have an issue. Definitely in excess of the 20 that we're supposed to be able to handle. So, yes, let's go ahead and get a little bit of more automation done here. I'll probably be moving these factories a little because they are not laid out very good. But at the same time, we now have the ability to move stuff around with conveyors, so I don't know. Well, anyway you look at it, a little bit of automation to set up here, and I will be back in a little bit. Well, we have rod production over here, automated, and we have plate production over here, automated. However, we are running very close to max on power. So we've actually had some points where we peak up to 39 megawatts on our 40 megawatt capacity. So, I mean, we are literally right at the maximum of what we can do. So because of that, I think it is time that we get a little bit of upgrades. So that is not where I want to go. I want to go here. So we've got a couple of things that we can do here. Base building is going to be probably the most important thing because this is going to give us foundations. And this will allow us to start aligning things to the world grid and make our base look a little bit nicer. Logistics is going to be kind of important too because then we can utilize the output from our various factories and miners more effectively. And it also gives us the conveyor lift, which allows us to elevate things without having to worry about running into them or jumping over them or whatever. Now, in Tier 2, we actually have something that is very important to me, and that's the obstacle clearing. Now, this gives us the ability to get the chainsaw and solid biofuel. So, this one, it could take a little bit to get to it because we need 500 screws. Now, we do have everything else. But I suppose what I'm going to do, the obstacle clearing is one that I definitely want to get. The base building is one that I need to get, and the logistics is one that I need to get. Now, obviously, there's a lot of various supplies needed to do all of that, but I will kind of get all of those together, and I'll just clear them manually because of the simple fact that there is a waiting time for the pod to come back each time. So, yeah, I will bring you guys back in a little bit. So, a whole bunch of stuff has been changed here around the base. I have put in 3 standalone biomass burners, but I'm currently only using one. But this allows us to very quickly and easily expand our power system. Now, we are starting to run low on petals, so we are going to want to start processing our bio ingredients into biofuel. So I have here the storage container that has all of our bio ingredients. That is going to be running into a constructor that will turn it into biomass, and then into another constructor that will turn the biomass into solid biofuel. Now, this solid biofuel is required for the chainsaw, and yeah, I will be going out and collecting a lot more of that bio ingredients with the chainsaw. However, I wanted to have a storage container near the biomass burners, but I don't want to have to jump over the conveyor every time that I go into the hub. And so I put in these elevators and a conveyor that is elevated. Also, the hub is now in a different location, and I've put down a lot of these foundations. Now, the hub is actually placed on a 1 meter foundation that is below these 2 meter foundations, and then I went ahead and brought the 2 meter foundations over the top of all of that. And so we have this floor that is exactly at the same height as the foundations, and then like our crafting bench and our hub terminal just barely poke out of the floor. This storage box looks like it's perfectly sitting on the foundation, and then there's just this slight uphill bit to go into the habitat area. So yeah, that's kind of nice. But we are going to go ahead and connect our power here, and that will fire up these constructors, and they should start immediately making the various stuff for the biofuel. Now, I should have everything that we need to make the chainsaw right now as well. So yes, we have everything. Let's go ahead and craft up a chainsaw. There we go. We now have our chainsaw. If we put that on our hotbar and it's out of focus, that's kind of bizarre. But yes, right now we have no fuel for it. So if we just wait a moment, okay, there goes some biofuel. So yeah, if we grab a bit of biofuel here, now we can see there is a 4 there next to, well, above our heart. And so if we come out here, I will probably be cutting those trees down, but right now I don't really want to. Now, the chainsaw is an area of effect tool, and so we can use it to chop down these bushes, we can use it to chop down large trees, flowers, a whole lot of stuff, and it will even break random stones that are out in the world. But so if we chop this one fern here, it will cut a whole bunch of the stuff around it and potentially catch a few of the trees. So if we go ahead and do this, we can see a whole bunch of stuff broke. We got 193 leaves and some wood, 8 wood out of that one charge of the chainsaw. So yes, this is much more efficient. 266 or no 73 plus a bunch of petals. We can also use it to chop flowers, and they will also spread around. But you can see we can collect a lot of bio ingredients very quickly with this thing. So yeah, I will be going around here a little bit and collecting up a bunch of this stuff. I'm a little bit scared because there's supposed to be enemies around here, and I have not been seeing any of them. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. But I will definitely be cutting a bunch of this down. There is a slug over there, so maybe I'll try to get that. These slugs come in really handy later on when we need to... I always thought there was one up here, but maybe it was over there. But the slugs will come in really handy later on when we need to start doing overclocking. And I think I just cut down a large tree with that one. But yes. Oh, we are out of fuel. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of organics harvesting now. Like I say, I'd kind of like to keep a few of the trees around here just to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. But I have to be very careful with the chainsaw because the area of effect is stupidly powerful. So, yes, bunch of stuff to do here still. We are a little ways away from getting our next upgrade, so we'll just continue on with what we've got. And I got, whoops, no. I just screwed up the entire system. Dang it. Well, I guess I will do what I can here to try to sort this all back out. We just threw a bunch of biomass in, or leaves in here. Ah! Alright, see you guys in a little bit. Well, the factory just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we now have automation of screws here. So I went ahead and got our next ore node set up here. Now, these ore nodes are capable of handling 4 smelters each, but our current conveyors are only able to handle 2. So that's why I only have 2 here. As we get better conveyors, we will be increasing that. But so these 2 smelters are then dumping into 2 constructors, one of which is just making rods that are going straight to storage, and one of which that is making rods that are going for screw production. Now, the constructors, I probably should get a bit more, because the constructors only make 15 rods per minute, and when making screws, they need 10 per minute. So I'm actually demanding 20 per minute here, but we're only supplying 15. Now, the only thing with that is currently our belts can only handle what we're getting out of these guys. So it really doesn't matter at the moment. And once we get better belts, all of this will be rebuilt. But we have screws being dumped into this container. We have plates being dumped into the container underneath it. Rods being dumped into this one. And then over here on the other side, I have added copper automation. So brought the foundation all the way out to the copper node and put a miner out there, a smelter, well, 2 smelters and 2 constructors up top that are making wire, and then one of those conveyors of wire is coming down here to this constructor, which is making cable. All of that is being brought over here and dumped into some storage containers, and so we've got automation of a good portion of the stuff that we need right now. Wire, cables, concrete, rods, plates, and screws. So in order to continue with the automation process, we've got to get the next little bit in our hub terminal, which is part assembly. So this part assembly, this will give us access to the assembler. We will also be able to make copper sheets, rotors, modular frames, and smart plating. Now the rotor, modular frame, and smart plating can be made in the assembler. We can manually craft the rotor and the modular frame, but this smart plating has to be made in the assembler. The copper sheet we don't need just yet. We won't be needing that until we finish phase 1 and move into phase 2, because phase 2 will unlock tier 3 and 4. The first thing in tier 3 is coal power, and that will require water, which is the first use of the copper sheets. But right now we're gonna get this guy. Looks like we are a little short on our cables at the moment, so we'll go ahead and dump all of this stuff in there, and let's hope that we've got at least over 200 cables so far. Let's see, how many do we... Oh, yeah, we're going to be waiting a little on those cables. I guess what we can do is manually craft a bunch of those just so that we can finish this up. Now, I did have to open up a second biomass burner for this, and this one we are we are actually using the solid biofuel, which we're getting quite a bit of solid biofuel. It's working out pretty good, but yeah, we need to make cables. I can't believe how many cables we have been needing, but we'll make up a bunch of these. How many? I cannot see. Can I move this? I can't move the objectives are behind. I can't see it. Dang it. Well, we'll just make a bunch here. I don't know. That's probably enough. Yes, it is. So we'll go ahead and launch that. So that's going to send our little cargo pod up.
More complex assembly of parts can now be automated. Project assembly parts can now be constructed and sent up via the space elevator. Note: project parts are too complex to produce by hand.
Yep. So, now at this point, I do think the next thing that I'm going to go for is the Tier 2, or the Mark II Conveyor, or whatever it is. Logistics Mark II, I guess, is the title of it. Because we definitely need to upgrade some of this stuff. Like our constructor here, we can't get the biomass out of it fast enough to keep this one running, and this guy isn't getting the biomass fast enough to keep running. He needs 120 a minute, where we can only give him 60. So yeah, we need to get all of that. So once that guy gets back, I'll see what we need. Try to get some automation of some of the assembled parts. I don't know for sure where I'm going to set that up, but we definitely need automation on some of the assembled parts. I'll try to kind of get this set up a little better. So I guess get to this once more and we'll see what we can do. So for the assembler, I just set up this here to where we have 2 storage containers that I can dump stuff into, and then it, will make whatever recipe I've got set in here. So this is working good. We currently have enough of these reinforced iron plates to now do our next little bit, which will give us the Mark II conveyors. So go into the Logistics Mark II. Looks like we actually need some plates, but we'll go ahead and throw everything else in here, and then we will grab some plates out of our plate storage over here. And this will give us the Mark II conveyors. Now, with this, we're going to completely redesign how we are doing all of this.
Improved versions of conveyor belts and conveyor lifts are now accessible. To encourage additional verticality, conveyor poles now have a stackable variant.
Well, that's nifty. So now, if we look at our conveyor belts here, so this one here is one of our biggest problems. So if we go into our menu, our build menu here, and go to logistics, we now have all of these new Mark II things, and we can reassign this to be the Mark II conveyor in place of our Mark I conveyor down on our build bar by just pressing the button here while mousing over it. So now we have the Mark II conveyors bound there, and when we go in here, we can very easily, it helps if I hit the right button, we can very easily just upgrade our conveyors. So now these will move items a lot faster. So we're still producing 300 per minute here, but at least we're pumping them into this at 120 a minute. So I am going to grab the biomass out of there and put it directly into here. And so now we should keep this always at 200. Every time that it finishes a craft, there should be 200 in here. So that will be perfect. So now we can see we're getting full flow out of our Mark I conveyors on the output side, getting lots and lots of biomass. Now that's good because we're actually up to using all 3 of our standalone biomass burners now. So yeah, we're using quite a bit of power. But at this point, I need to basically completely tear everything down And what we're going to do over here by the copper, we have a bit of a downward ramp. And so if we look down here, there is a lot of open space down here. And so I want to put this stuff down underneath all the factories and everything. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know. We definitely need to get the awesome sink very soon so that we can get our support pillars and things like that. It will make things look a lot better. Make it feel like it's supported instead of just hanging out over the void. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff to do here. The resource sink, I believe, is in phase 2. I don't think that it's here. Well, again, we can't see because we're waiting on our pod to come back. It's going to be over 3 minutes before it gets back. So when that gets back, I'll see what we've got available still, and we'll go from there. Now, the Mark II conveyors do require these reinforced plates. So having reinforced plates is kind of important at this point. So I guess a lot of stuff for me to figure out how we're going to lay this out, and I will be back. Alright, so the cargo pod has returned. We are able to get the resource sink bonus program here. So this should take every bit of what I've got here. And let's hear what Ada has to say.
Milestone reached. You have been given early access to the anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on exoplanets bonus program. Funneling parts into the awesome resource sink, depending on their amount and complexity, will grant you coupons in the awesome store, which can be exchanged for bonus rewards. Examples of bonus content are parts, walls, factory attachments, and cosmetics. Fixit is working hard to develop additional options, which will be added to the awesome store in the future. Go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
So what we need now is to get this awesome sink set up. Now this will start giving us coupons right away, and what we need to do is set this up right now for just having, some containers that we can throw excess resources in, and then we can dump this stuff into the awesome sink. So we have our container here. Now let's go ahead and grab the awesome sink. Now this thing is quite large. It looks like it requires more resources than we have available, but it also takes a lot of power. So yes, I will set this up here. We also will set up the awesome store here. Now let's just see. So that requires some concrete or something. What did it require? I don't know. But I'll get that set up here. That way we can start getting some of our cosmetic stuff, and that will greatly help us here in the future. So we should have enough now to set up the sink, and we'll go from there. Oh no, we're minus 1 cable. Well, that's easy enough. Hey, cables. There we go. This monstrous thing. So we'll pull it back a little bit away from the container because I didn't line the container up. We will set this with a Mark II conveyor so that we can get things going into it as fast as possible. And then we need some power. Let's go ahead and just set a power. Yeah, we need cable or wires. Man, the resources. We need the resources. Let's go ahead and grab 500 wires. That should be able to get us this. And then we will connect this up. Now this thing, it does take a fair amount of power, but it doesn't say how much. Now, we only need 1,000 points for our first one here. So let's see here. What can we throw in there? Let's go ahead and throw in cables. Sure. So we'll see this thing will lower the wheel down, start smashing the stuff, and we will start to see points coming in fairly quickly, and we'll get coupons out of this. So, yeah. I don't know how much power this thing is taking. Looks like we had a massive jump in power consumption there when we hooked the thing up. So, yeah, we're still doing okay. 130 capacity and about 100 on our consumption. But this will definitely get us a lot of the coupons, and like I say, we will just be looking for things that we have a lot of and throwing them into the sink for now. As we get better and better factories, of course, we'll get better and better items to throw in and more of them, and that's going to help things out a lot. So, yes, I suppose I'll check and see where we're at on the episode because I don't know, and we'll go from there. So, I've been throwing a bunch of random stuff in here, and we now have 12 Fix-It coupons. So we're going to go ahead and print these off and steal those. And now here in our awesome shop, we can start getting some stuff. Now, one of the things that I know I'm going to want to get fairly quickly is this little factory cart. But that would leave us almost no tickets to use for anything else. At the moment, there are a couple of things that I really want to get. In the architecture section, we definitely want to get this concrete pillar set. So that is definitely a thing. It's going to give us big and small concrete pillars. Let's go ahead and add that to the shop. We're also going to want to get the modern railing because I really like the looks of that. And I think we'll also get, or the industrial railing and the modern railing. We're going to get both of those. We definitely need the factory ladder. This is something that is kind of a requirement. Stairs would be kind of nice. I'm thinking that's a possibility. Where are we at on our cart so far? 9. Okay, so we have a little bit more. So the other thing would be attachments, and we want this conveyor lift hole. And, ooh, this is different. We actually don't have enough to get the wall outlet Mark 1. We need one more ticket for that. So let's go ahead and buy everything that we've got here, or do we remove the modern railing? Let's remove the industrial railing and instead add our wall outlet power. So that's going to give us a lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and buy all here. We got a lot of goodies out of all of that. And let's just see. Yeah, we're still a long ways away. So I threw some rotors and reinforced iron plates in there. And wow, were we getting a lot there for a little bit, over 10,000 points per minute. But yeah, we have a lot of new stuff now. So if we go into our power, we now have these wall outlets and double wall outlets. The double wall outlets will be really nice for running power inside of the factory and not seeing it. We also have over here the conveyor lift hole, which will allow us to run conveyors vertically through our foundations. And we also got in the architecture, we've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So we've got our various pillars, we got the ladder, the stairs, and the modern railing. Now these modern railing, that looks really nice, but when we come over to somewhere like over here, let's go ahead and put some of these over here. So if we want to not accidentally fall into this ramp, we can go ahead and place this in there. Now, we can still jump over this, but at least we can't just walk up against it. Same thing here, if we go down the ramp, we can now have railings that will keep us from falling off of the ramp. All very nice stuff. The stairs, I've never actually looked at the stairs. Oh, that looks kind of cool, actually. So let's see here. Can we... Okay, so these snap 2 pieces there. So now can we extend this up? Hello? Can we build off of this one and make it a spiral? Let's try getting up on the stairs. Here, let's try doing a zoop. See if we can zoop this guy. So, no. Okay, so that is a bit unfortunate. we cannot build them on top of each other. Our only option, oh man, that is going to make a very large staircase if we use that. So we would have to go there, and then there, and then there. Yeah, that seems a bit ridiculous. Now, another question, can we add our railings to this? No. Well, that kind of stinks. So I'm not terribly thrilled about those. But I suppose we can figure something out. I hope. Definitely going to be some options to what we can do with our building now. But yeah, with that, I am going to have to cut the episode because I think we're a little over time. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about what I've been working on or anything that you think I could do to improve things here, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And I will see you next time. Bye.